Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. I hope you can see me. I'm going to check on my other screen and make sure that you can. I tried to get a cup of tea and then time just flew, so I have water. Oh, I can hear myself. Hang on. Okay, so the good news is I use two setups here so I can see if this is working. So if you hear me talking to myself, that's what's going on. Okay, let's see who can see us. I'm going to check the chat. Say hello to a few people. Say hi if you can see me. Uh-oh, I'm not seeing any chats. Hopefully you can see me. Alrighty. Who we got? Say hi if you can see me. If you can see me live. Oh, you can see and hear me. All right. I don't know who I'm talking to. Who's DB? Tell me your name. Hi, Fiona. I'm looking at the wrong screen, aren't I? Sorry. Hang on. Okay. Hello. Oh, I just went red then. Did you see I just went really red? There's this thing about when you do a live class. All in the prep, I feel, oh, Donna. Hello, Donna. Hi, Jennifer. I feel like whenever I do a live class, I always get really nervous right when I go live, right? And then when I see people actually here, I go really, really red because just, you know, it's just nerves. It will be fine. We'll be okay. Before we actually start officially, I'm just going to give everybody another minute to get in. It took me ages for I use Google Hangouts to run these classes. It took me forever for it to load up and actually log me in. So just in case anyone else is having trouble, I want to give it an extra second. Yeah, so how are you guys? Good? Good? We might have a delay of about 10 or 20 seconds. So if it sounds like I'm jumping ahead and not listening to your answers, that's what's happening. And you'll see me go back and forth from looking here at you to looking over here and checking out your chats. So if I'm off with the fairies like that, that's what I'm looking at. But I have got slides today to keep me on track. Oh, we've got 8 viewers now. Ooh, lovely. Hello, everybody. I have got slides with me today to keep me on track because I know that our time is limited as busy parents, whether you have little kids at home clinging onto your leg while you're trying to watch, or whether you've done the school run and you have a few jobs to do before you go and do the school pickup. My husband just walked in the room. Hello, honey. Every time I do a live stream, somebody walks in the room. Okay, so anyway, oh, you're in Texas, Donna. Hi, Bryony. How are you going? Oh my goodness, everyone from around the world today. So I'll get into a bit more of an intro if you haven't met me before, but I'll do that when we've got the slides so I remember to say everything. Okay, so we're coming up to 10:36 on my clock now, so let's switch over to slides so that we can go through the content. And remember, we've got some special Q&A time at the end, so see if you can hang in there live for that. Alrighty, I'm going to share my screen. This is normally where I get a little bit freaked out about technology. So let's see how that goes. All right, entire screen. I'm clicking share. And present to everyone. Let's see if we can get these slides up. All right, I'm just going to check in the chat box. Oh, no, I've done something wrong. Hang on a second. What have I done? There we go. I'm just going to check with you guys in the chat box if you can see the slides. So can you see the slides? Everybody. Yeah, while I'm waiting for your answers. Yeah, I was just thinking, all right, so I like to stay on track as much as possible because I know that if you've got little kids at home and they're kind of clingy or they want your attention, it's hard to focus on a class like this when you're live. And I also know that if you've got school run later on, you've also got a limited time frame to do all the things you need to do today. So I like to try and make the most of the hour that we have together. It should be about an hour. I tend to ramble, or if we have a lot of questions, then it might go a little bit over that. Either way, you can either stop or start and watch the replay later if you miss some of the live stuff. But if you're live, you get your question answered at the end. So hopefully you can stay with me. So yeah. Okay. Love the table in your first slide. Yes, I can see you. Thanks, Jennifer. I wish I could say it was my table, but I have to admit, it's not my photo. Yeah. Oh, there's this lovely girl that does beautiful photography that I like to use in my presentations. But I also have this friend, Naomi, who this photo reminds me of her. She's in home staging for a living, and her rooms always look gorgeous like this. So it's kind of like my goal is to have a house this beautiful of my very own. Wendy, you can see the slides. Hello, Bryony, you can see the slides. Yay. Okay, thank you everyone for chatting, because when you're giving an online class, it feels really lonely. So the more chat I see, the more, well, actually I might end up too excited, but I get really excited because it's nice to see that I'm talking to real people. So yes, okay, let's jump in. So first thing I want to say is officially welcome to the class. If you haven't had a class with me before, you'll find that we do share a lot of content. I try and go through it quickly, but not too quickly. So if you need me to slow down, then let me know in the chat. And if I see it, I will do my best to slow down as much as I can. Or if you miss anything, you can always ask in the questions at the end and I'll repeat it as well. So what are you guys excited about learning today? Anything in particular with decluttering that you want to cover? I'd love to know. I remember when I first had my kids are aged 5 and 7, decluttering was a lifesaver once I got the hang of it. Until I got the hang of it, it was overwhelming. I put it off all the time and the house looked crazy. But once I got the hang of decluttering, oh, it made life so much easier, because there's a lot of mess that you can't control when you have young children, and there's a lot of mess that you can't control when you're in a workspace as well. And I just found that the more I decluttered it, the more I pared everything back to what I really needed, the easier it was to keep my house tidy and organized as well. So Wendy, you don't want to get so overwhelmed anymore when you try to declutter. Yes, that's the biggest thing that people say. Half of my clients, I would say more than half, when I say to them, what's the thing that stops you when you're trying to declutter? They all say overwhelm. You know, they talk about how, you know, we get started, we get into it, and then all of a sudden it feels like the job is just too big and we can't handle it, or we get interrupted halfway through and then the whole room just looks like a massive mess. It's just, yeah, it's really a lot more difficult than people think, particularly if you have kids, by the way, especially if you're trying to declutter their stuff. All right, Fiona, your thoughts on other people's clutter. Oh, you mean like when you're living with people who have clutter in your house? There's a lot of questions that I get on things like, how do I encourage my partner to declutter? How do I encourage my kids to declutter? But also things like how to declutter sentimental items, you know, where people have given them to you and they expect you to keep them, but you're not comfortable keeping them because it's just there's not enough room in your space to hold them. So that's something that I get asked a lot as well. So we'll cover that. Need some tips on getting rid of the kids' stuff, 2 or 3 in particular. Don't want to get rid of stuff. I need some persuasive ideas. Oh, remind me at the end, Jennifer. I've got a tip that worked for me just last week in my own family. So it's not on the slides, but if you remind me at the end, yes, I will answer that as well. Staying motivated. Yeah, we're going to cover that today. What to keep and what to get rid of. Oh, prioritizing. Yes. Okay, I've got a really cool system for that as well. How to avoid being overwhelmed. Oh, Jeannie. Hello, Jeannie. You can see me. Yay. I can see you too. In the chat box. I can't see your actual room. Bryony, avoiding being overwhelmed and keeping motivated. Also reducing the huge cost of our regular house moves. Good. One of the tips today will help you with that. Lovely. I like the sound of that. Yay. All right, then let's get started. If you haven't met me before, I know a lot of you have. I know a lot of you are on the regular email list and have been to the blog before, but just in case you haven't and you've found me today because a friend shared today's class on social media, I want to take a second, introduce myself. So my name's Marissa Roberts, and I'm basically known for my love of simplifying everything. Finding simple ways to do everything. It pretty much started for me when I had my children. So yeah, Sophie is 7, Georgia is 5. When they were babies, I was really, really overwhelmed. You know, I was somebody who could always get myself ready, keep my own apartment clean. But when I had babies, I was really shocked at just how much harder everything was, right? It was harder to keep the house tidy. It was harder to get through the day and manage my time. It was really hard to find time for me as well as family time. And I know that sounds a little bit selfish to say that, but to be honest, guys, it's the truth. I spent, 30 years being just me. And then I had a family and everything just went out of control because all of a sudden I had the same 24 hours, but I had to manage 3 or 4 people's worth of home and needs and requests and time and all of that. And I found that really overwhelming. So I started Googling ways to make life easier, how to get organized, how to simplify, how to get more out of my day, how to spend more time with my family. I started Googling and blogging about how I was trying to make things better like that. And that blog is called Beautifully Organised. It's over at beautifulyorganised.com. That was back in 2011 I started blogging. And at first it was just kind of like a record of what I was doing to declutter and organize. And then it became more because other mums started emailing in and saying, you know, how do you wash the dishes while you've got a toddler around? How do you make sure all the beds are made and not feel like you live in a hostel every day? Little things like that. So I would then blog and answer their questions. And then I started doing, you know, coaching over the phone, going and visiting other mums in their homes and helping them kind of pare back and organize their home so that the day flowed a lot more smoothly and they could go to bed at night with a pretty tidy house and not feel guilty or exhausted anymore. So yeah, the blog turned into a business. It's been running for the last 2011, 2016, 5 years now. And yeah, as you can see, I'm very passionate about it. All right, so what I do is I now help other people with simple ways to keep your house tidy, to manage your time well, and to balance your work life and family. And the focus is on simple, not perfect. Okay, so I have a lot of friends who are organizers as well, and I love them. And their homes are beautiful, and their blogs are beautiful. And my home, I have to admit, doesn't have the same amount of pretty containers. And it doesn't have everything perfectly placed and matched because my goal with being organized isn't actually about being perfect. It's about making life a lot easier, smoother, simpler, you know, bringing more of a flow and a rhythm into my days. So if that's something that you like the sound of, then you're going to love this class. If you want really, really kind of perfect organizing, I'm probably not your girl, but if you email me, I can email you a list of people I would follow for that. Yes. Lots of interesting and awesome people there. Okay, so today, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the 3 most common reasons people fail when they try and declutter their home. And please know, if any of these reasons apply to you, you are not alone. Pretty much everybody I come across in, you know, this sort of work has the same problems. And then we're going to talk about how to ease into decluttering so you don't get really overwhelmed by it. Because I think, you know what, it's just like you guys were saying before, the overwhelm is really the biggest block. It's not the fact that you have to declutter or the fact that you don't want to get rid of any items. In a lot of cases, it's more just you really want to do it, but it's too big a job and you don't have a lot of spare time. Then we're going to talk about the first 3 things that I recommend you declutter when you're just getting started, especially if you want your decluttering acts to keep you motivated as you go. So the last thing I want is for you to try and declutter something, then feel overwhelmed and go, you know what, I'm going to stop. I'm not doing this anymore. What I want instead is for you to go, hey, that was a quick win. That was awesome. Hey, let's try another one. Hey, that was a quick win as well. That's awesome too. Let's keep going. That's the feeling I want to give you. If that sounds good to you, please let me know in the chat box. All right, and then we're going to talk about a simple technique that anyone can use to make decluttering simple and a consistent part of their everyday life. I've found that one of the biggest problems with decluttering is the fact that you'll do it once. It's such a massive job that you basically need rest time after that. And not a lot of us are inclined to want to keep decluttering and get ourselves in that overwhelming space. If you've felt like that before, let me know in the chat. I have felt like that before. Most people I've come across in this industry have felt like that before. You are definitely not alone. If you've given decluttering a try and it might have worked at first and then it kind of ended up too much to continue on with, or if you decluttered once and then felt like, no, I need to have a break for like a year, then yeah, know that you're not alone. All sounds great. Excellent. Great, Donna. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, yes, and don't forget, we've got questions and answers, so jot them down. If you put them in the chat box now, I will see them, but I'll try and hold off till the end of the class before I answer them. So if I forget at the end, just retype it in the chat box and remind me. And if there's any major ones that I miss and you're listening to the replay and you're not here live, then just email them into me and we'll do another class in the future. Okay, don't forget to share this class. If you're on the page now, you'll see there's a little like button and a tweet button up the top of the page. If you've got any friends or family that are feeling a bit overwhelmed. Oh, can you see me, Bryony? Oh, no, wait, hang on. I'm scrolling through the chat box and I see earlier messages. Yes, please do all of it, Wendy. Okay, great. If you've got a friend or family member and they're linked on your social media and you think they would get a lot of value out of a class like this, whether they listen live or to the replay, just hit one of those share buttons. Let them know. You can either tweet or if you click that like button, it'll show up on your timeline on Facebook. You don't have to, it's totally optional. But if you know anybody who would get a benefit out of it, hey, I would share it around and let them check it out. Alrighty, let's get into it. So the 3 most common reasons people fail when they try and declutter their home. I almost didn't use the word fail because it feels really harsh, but then I'm like, you know what? That's how we feel. That's how we feel when it doesn't work. There's a lot of emotional connection to decluttering and how you feel when you're trying to do it. So yeah, I don't want to be afraid of using that word fail, because if you're feeling that way, I want you to know that you're not the only one. So let's talk about the 3 most common reasons people have their decluttering not work out. Number 1, see if you can guess them. Number 1 is they take an all or nothing approach. Yep, they take an all or nothing approach to decluttering. Tell me if this is you or anyone you know. You look around your house, it feels messy, it feels cluttered, it's getting overwhelming, it's hard to tidy up, and then you feel like, okay, I need to spend some time clearing the place out, get rid of the things we don't need anymore, and bring back some space to our home. Okay? Then tell me if this is you. You think, great, I'm going to put aside Sunday, I'm going to take the whole day, and I'm going to declutter the house and get rid of all the stuff we don't need anymore. Kind of like they do on that hoarders show, you know, they all come in and they do a massive clear out. Not to that level, you know, because we're not all hoarders, but that feeling like, okay, I'm going to take a day, I'm going to work all day, I'm going to clear it out, and I'm going to feel amazing at the end. It's a great theory, right? But it's really, really hard to actually do that in real life. It's really hard to do that in real life, because it's kind of like setting yourself up to climb a whole mountain in one day if you've never climbed a mountain before. And to be honest, I don't even go hiking. I couldn't certainly not climb a whole mountain in one day. So this all or nothing approach where you think, okay, I'm going to wait till I have a full day available and then I'm going to clear out everything. It's kind of setting yourself a really big task without having the opportunity to break that down into doable actions. And when you start, you feel really good for about half an hour, but then you get into, say, the end of your first hour of working, and all of a sudden you look around and everything has become even more of a mess because you're laying it all out to sort through it, right? So it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard to do everything in one go. I think that's the main message I want to get across. Please don't feel like you have to declutter everything. And when I say everything, you'll see in a minute when I talk about what you should start with, that when you break down your steps into decluttering, you actually break them down a lot smaller than you would normally think. Reason number 2 that people have trouble with decluttering is they get distracted and they change focus too easily. I'll give you a classic example of this one that I see over and over again. We think to ourselves, all right, today's the day. I'm going to declutter the bedroom. Great. I'm going to open up my wardrobe. I'm going to take everything out and I'm going to start sorting it into piles, throwing out the rubbish as I go, and then sorting out the rest and deciding where it needs to go. You get about 3 shelves in, and then you get to a drawer or a shelf that's full of stuff that you think, oh, you know what? This could actually live in the bathroom. It doesn't have to stay in the bedroom. Bedroom's going to be totally clear now. Number 1, so you, Wendy. It's a lot of it, trust me. All right, so you find a whole lot of stuff that could go in your bathroom and you think, great, I'm going to go put this in the bathroom right now. So then you go to the bathroom, you open up the cupboard and you try and find a spot for those things, right? What happens next? You know what happens next? You go, I just need some space. So I'm going to declutter this drawer so that I have some space for this new stuff. And that way then I can go back to the bedroom. Now, can anybody tell me why this doesn't work? Have you been watching me trying in my house? You're coming up as a non, so pop your name in so I know who asked me that. Have you been watching trying in my house? Don't worry, you're not the only one. All right, who knows why getting distracted and going and put that stuff in your bathroom is not going to work? Any ideas? Let's have a think about 10 minutes down the track from that bathroom point, right? Now you have a whole lot of mess in your bedroom because you've been decluttering your wardrobe. Paper shuffling, so to speak, because you forget what you were doing. Yes, Wendy, you get totally distracted, right? You've got all this mess in your bedroom because you're a third of the way through. Then you've gone to your bathroom and you started going, oh no, I can't just leave all this new stuff on the counter. I've got to declutter the bathroom and find space for it. So all of a sudden you're focused on the bathroom. You've completely lost track of the fact that you're working on the bedroom right now. And what you've created is a mess in both rooms, right? And what does that do? It makes you more overwhelmed. Because at that point, in most of my clients' lives, oh yes, Jennifer, I was about to say that. Then I crack it at the kids. Yes, in my experience, when I try and declutter too much in one go, it looks really exciting to my children and they come in and ask me if they can help, or they come in and ask me to do something else for them. And I'm already overwhelmed now because I've created 2 big clutter hotspots, right, on top of the already overwhelming feeling of my house. And then I have kids in there trying to like pull me away from it as well, right? So how do I feel? I'm not happy anymore. Decluttering is not a good experience. It's making me miserable. Yes. I transfer the clutter to a different area all the time, Bryony. That is so true. Who has hotspots in their house? I don't know about you guys, but most of my clients, and me included, we have these natural hotspots that turn up, where junk kind of gets dumped on them normally. So in our house, it's top of my freezer, my dining room table, and kitchen counter as well. Oh, always lots of clutter. So true, Lauren. Yes. All right. So that's the mistake number 2. Let's talk about mistake number 3. They do it once in a while or only when they really need to. So at the start of the class, we talked about this once in a while idea. Okay, I've got a day available. I'm going to go through and clear out the house. Woohoo. Okay, so a lot of people think about that in terms of springtime. Springtime is one popular time that people think I've better do a clear out. I better do a big declutter, because we all get that idea of spring cleaning in our head. Yep. Now, for me in Australia, springtime is right at the beginning of the lead up to Christmas. Now, I don't know about anybody else in another time zone, but what I do see on a lot of blogs and forums is people saying, you know what, if it's not springtime, I like to declutter in the lead up to Christmas so that we have more room for family to come over. It's easier to cook on the day. We've got more storage space for Christmas stuff. So Christmas then becomes another pressure point as well. Oh, Donna, yep, I can see it's you now. Awesome. If you click on I think you can click on the spot in Chat Tango and add your name again, but that's okay. I'll just keep asking. All right, so yeah, seasonal. Seasonal reasons are where this once in a while feeling can come in. The only when they really need to, you know what the 2 biggest areas of that is for me? When people move is one of them, right? Nobody declutters and then they go, whoa, I'm selling the house, I've got to move to a smaller one, or I've got to move to another one with a different setup. We better declutter so the move is easier. Do you think it actually makes the move easier? No, it doesn't make the move easier. It adds more stress and more to-dos, more tasks, because you've then got to have time to go through everything and find a way to donate or get rid of it. So doing it once in a while doesn't work. Doing it when you really have to doesn't work. The other classic example of only decluttering when you need to that I come across a lot, baby clothes. Totally baby clothes. Right? So you have your kids and then you store all their extra clothes because you're thinking about having more kids. So as they grow out of them, you put them in storage. Then all your friends and family buy the new baby lots of clothes anyway, so you never get them out of storage again. Or sometimes you do and you reuse them and then that second baby grows out of them and so on and so on. Pretty much at the end of 5 years, actually it's what, hit 7 years for me, we had baby clothes everywhere after just a couple of years. Right? There's always that feeling of, do I keep it? Do I donate it? Do I wait till a friend has a baby so I can then pass on the clothes to them? Which is a great idea, but at the same time, they're all getting lots of clothes as presents as well and lots of everybody else's hand-me-down, right? But the key is that timing. You think, okay, great. I've held on to it for so long. My baby is now 8. I'm not going to need baby clothes anymore because we're not planning on any more kids. Let's declutter all of those in one go, right? But you don't want to throw them out because it's a waste. So you think, okay, I'll give them away or donate them. Then you've got to figure out where they're going to go. Oh, will they take that many clothes in one go? Do I need to wash them all now? Are they feeling a bit smelling a bit musty? See, what you've done again now is you've created a whole bunch of extra work again. So you see why it doesn't work? No more children for you? No more kids for us either in the plan. I think 2's the perfect amount, but I've probably jinxed myself now that I've said that. All right. So they're the 3 reasons that people fail. Luckily, they're not permanent fails. The good news about decluttering is that you can do it anytime. And it gets easier every time you do it, as long as you ease into it slowly so you don't get overwhelmed. Shall we talk about my favorite easing ideas? My favorite easing into decluttering principles. Let's have a look. First one is to start small, and I mean really, 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 really small. I'm probably getting too excited, guys. Sorry. I'm very passionate about this stuff. All right. So start small, really, really small. What do I mean by small? Okay, I don't mean just spaces, but it does include spaces. So here's what I mean. Declutter your small spaces first, one at a time. So really reduce the amount of decluttering you're doing in one go, right? Now, in a minute, I'm going to teach you the first 3 spaces you should declutter because they're small and they're easy and they're quick wins. But I just want to pause here for a moment and just put that small spaces idea in your head. Just remember, whenever I'm decluttering, I don't have to do a whole house. I don't have to do a whole room. I don't even have to do a whole cupboard at once. I just want you to shake off that pressure. Oh, Jennifer, you went in on too. Donna, you're back. We need to declutter our chat box problems. I can still see everything you're saying though, so that's good. Okay, so small spaces. So not a whole house, not a whole room, not a whole pantry. You don't have to do your whole pantry at once. There's a lot of spices and tiny packets and lots of things in there, right? So small spaces, and we'll talk about ideas for those in a minute. And do them one at a time. Don't aim to do 5 small spaces in one day because you're just adding that overwhelm again. All right, take small steps. That's the other part of the small. 15 minutes at a time. Do you think that's more doable than needing a whole day of uninterrupted time? Love it. It makes so much sense. Thank you, Jennifer. That's really lovely. It just makes it so much easier, doesn't it? Take very small steps. Okay, so with the 15-minute theory, here's what I like to do. Now, you can do this with your oven timer, your microwave. I do it with my iPhone because I can keep it near me. Anything really, your alarm clock next to your bed, if you still have that. I use my iPhone for my alarm clock, which I know is a really bad idea, but I don't know, it's just habit. But anyway, right, 15 minutes, you put it on your timer, you make sure you can hear your timer when it gets to the end of the 15 minutes, and you tell yourself, just gonna work this 15 minutes, and no matter where I end up, that is all I have to do if I don't want to carry on after that. Now, what that does is kind of saying that to yourself takes away a lot of that overwhelm, right? Because it takes away a lot of the expectation. It takes away a lot of the pressure. And people can say all the time, oh, but nobody else is making you do that. But internal pressure, internal guilt, internal worry and fear and anxiety is a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's just as real as if somebody else is putting that pressure on you. Now, using the timer takes the emotion away from that, right? It just gives you that reminder to stop. 15 minutes at a time. At the end of that 15 minutes, if you're feeling amazing and you want to keep going, then keep going. But keep going for another 15 minutes and then stop again, right? So every 15 minutes, you're stopping and deciding, is this the point where I'm going to stop for the day? Or am I really keen to keep going? If you only do one 15-minute lot, that's fine, because I'm going to teach you later on how to declutter more consistently so that it's not a big job anymore. So hopefully that's helped. Don't forget to set your timer so you don't forget, because once you're engrossed in a project, time will fly. Time will fly. Any comments on those ones? Anyone given them a try and had troubles with it? Let me know so I know to answer that at question time or give you a bit of advice at the time now. The other small thing I'm going to mention is to do things one piece at a time, okay? So what I mean by that is, you know how traditionally everybody's decluttering idea is kind of, all right, take the space, take everything out, put it on a big wide space like your floor or your dining room table or your bed or out in the backyard, and then start to sort through it. I am not a big fan of that process. It might work for other organisers. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for most of my clients, because most of my clients are busy women or busy mothers or busy parents, and they get interrupted a lot. That's why 15 minutes works really well for us. But working on one piece at a time instead of dumping everything out works really well too. Just going to make sure I'm still seeing you guys talking. Yep, okay. So one piece at a time. So for example, let's say I was decluttering a kitchen drawer. I open up the drawer, and instead of dumping all of the utensils on my table or my kitchen counter, all I'm going to do is keep my counter clear in front of me and just grab one item at a time out of my drawer, right? Because when I do that, I can focus on each item and really think, you know, have I used it in the last, 6 months or so? Do I really need it? Do I have something else that would work the same way? Great. And then I'm holding that piece and I decide, do I want to throw it out? Is it broken? Do I want to recycle it, or do I want to give it away or donate it to somebody? That's when I start making my organizing piles, right, as I go. So each time I pick up an item, I just put it in each pile or straight in the rubbish bag as I go. So it's almost like my eyes are only focused on one thing at a time, even though I know the job is actually bigger than that. It doesn't feel bigger than that. Does that make sense? What do you think? Let me know. I'll check the chat. Tell me what you think of those ideas with starting small. Small spaces, small time frames, and work on one piece at a time instead of just dumping everything out. Even if you only take that one thing away from today, it's going to make such a big difference. Such a big difference. Oh no, I can't see anyone talking. I hope you're all still here. Are you still there? Yes. Oh, time to hit the kitchen drawers. 15 minutes is definitely doable. Yeah, one piece at a time really, really works. Otherwise, I'd look at everything and think, where's the wine? Yes, so would I. Touching things one time only. Okay, that is such a good theory. Is that the theory where the other way I've heard that theory is when you pick up a piece of paper and you put a dot on it and then you have to action that piece of paper, like when you're doing your filing? Because if you touch it more than once, it just stays in the clutter. Yes, totally agree. Awesome. Great. Yay. I'm glad this is helping. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about the first 3 things to declutter when you're just getting started and you want to stay motivated. This is huge. This is huge. Everything's huge. I'm so excited. Okay, first 3 things to declutter. Remember, we're sticking with the small theory. We want to start really, really small. And you know what the smallest thing I can think of when I'm working with clients is? It's your wallet or your purse, whatever you call it. Pocketbook, no, notebook, wallet. I say wallet, the one that has your change, your cards, your receipts, business cards, all of that stuff. Now, every couple of months, my wallet is always crammed full of random kid stuff. It's like Declutter as Anonymous. Yeah, everyone's showing up as Anon. Hi, my name is. Still here just trying to feed a toddler. Oh, so cute. I miss our toddler days. Well, I miss the fun parts, you know, the cuddles, not the tantrums. Although my 5-year-old still has tantrums. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, your wallet. Nothing smaller that I can think of, right? But there's so much stuff in there. So if you start with your wallet, and I'm going to say, you know what, guys? If you declutter nothing else this week, pick your wallet and start with that. If you're doing it right now while you're watching, even better. So my wallet is usually crammed through with random receipts, library cards, little notes that the girls write for me, which are adorable but turn into a lot of little notes. So what I tend to do is I declutter my wallet every couple of months, to be honest, every couple of months. I know a lot of organisers do it weekly. I have a lot of other things that I work on weekly. You do weekly wallets. Okay, awesome. If you can do weekly, do weekly. Mine every couple of months, it tends to get so crammed full that I'm reminded that I need to do it. Weekly would be better. Okay, so things that I start to throw out. Those little notes that the girls send me, I just take a photo of them with my phone and then I upload them online if they're really, really cute and I don't want to lose them. Because if I keep them in my wallet, they're going to get damaged. Receipts, I take a photo of my receipts and upload them online too so I can print them out and use them if I need to, and then I don't have to keep the receipt. Because I've found in Australia where I am, a lot of the time our receipts fade really quickly too. Chat box, my boys say they need a harness and a rope to go into my bag, else I'll get lost. I'm under the wallet before the kitchen drawers. All of the store cards. Yes, store cards are a big problem. They're so handy though when you're actually at the shop. Busy toddler, Bryony. All right, so your wallet. Start with your wallet first, okay? Keep your money. Don't declutter that to the kids. Don't declutter your money. But your change, you could declutter your change, right? Just pop it in a jar. Very good. All right, so next small space. Your handbag or your baby bag. All right, so I know a lot of us switch a handbag over for a parent bag or a nappy bag or a diaper bag or a baby bag, whatever you call it. I know a lot of our everyday essentials go into theirs. When I had my two with a baby bag, we had our regular stuff like, you know, wipes and nappies and disposable bags and that sort of thing. But we also had a lot of extras, you know, so I would find that I would have 3 pairs of socks in there instead of 1 pair of socks, because when I'm quickly packing the bag, I'm not always checking what's in there. I'm just adding stuff to it that I think I'm going to need, and I'm relying on my memory. So that bag ends up with a lot of clutter. It ends up with a lot of, say, food packets if we're out and about, random drink bottles here and there. For my youngest, she had my youngest was she didn't have a dummy. My oldest had a dummy, so it was like dummies in there as well, all bits and pieces. I did see a tip once of popping a hole into your cards and putting them on a ring. Yes, store cards. Check out the chat box, guys. Yes, absolutely. You can punch a hole into your store cards and put them on a key ring, and that way you don't lose them. Handbag. Now that my kids are older, my handbag seems to be their dumping ground when we're out and about. So when I pick them up from preschool or from school, they give me their stuff, it goes in my bag. When I check the mail as we're walking home and I'm trying to make sure neither of them is like crossing random driveways, then I just dump the mail in my bag as I'm walking up the driveway. Snacks, same thing with snacks as it was before, random receipts, paperwork, notes, school notes. Oh, so many school notes. Anyway, so handbag gets a lot of rubbish in it and a lot of clutter in it, but it's a doable space, right? Think about when you could declutter something like this. Okay, so for me, I take a rubbish bag with me to school pickup. You know how you have to go early to school pickup and you just to get a car park, and you end up sitting there for like a half hour? And, you know, I take a book to read and stuff like that, but I like to be productive with my time too. So I take a rubbish bag with me and I declutter my handbag while I'm in the car at school pickup every week or 2. I think it's more like weekly now for my handbag because it gets full pretty quickly. All right, so basically I just take a rubbish bag, and because I'm decluttering one item at a time, I'm reaching into my bag and pulling out one thing and deciding, is it rubbish or do I keep it, right? Anything that's rubbish goes straight in the rubbish bag. Anything that's not goes on the car seat next to me. And then that stuff gets put back in my handbag at the end. And then when I get home, the hard part is already done. The hard part's already done. So then I can just take out the stuff and put it away without getting mixed up with all the rubbish. You use an app. Lauren uses an app you can store all your store cards called Stocard, S-T-O-C-A-R-D, Lauren. You just scan your phone when you need to use your store cards. Oh, that's awesome. Lauren, are you in Australia? I'm in Australia, so I don't know if I've got that here. If we do, that would be awesome. Folding laundry that's been sitting in the baskets forever now. I'm motivated for 15. Yay! Okay, good. Oh, I hope you guys are motivated to do something today. Okay, so we've talked about wallet. We've talked about handbag or baby bag. Let's talk. Oh, and if you're a father too, handbag, baby bag, man bag, whatever you have. Sorry, I always tend to default to motherhood because that's what I am. But I know we have a lot of dads that follow the blog as well. Lauren, you're in Australia. Great. I'm going to try that for me then. Thank you. All right, so the next part, number 3, if you've done your wallet, if you've done your bag, now we move on to a drawer, okay? Now, personally, I prefer wallet and bag first because we're stepping it up in terms of how big it is. But if you have a really, really big handbag and a tiny drawer, swap them around, right? You want to go up in terms of size of space that you're decluttering. But a drawer, yes, a drawer is nice and easy, okay? Now, I know most of us have kitchen drawers. Kitchen is a great place to start. Bathroom is also a really good place to start. Bedside table is also a really good place to start. So that's 3 drawers that you can choose from, okay? Kitchen drawer, bathroom drawer, bedside table if you have it. I love bedside table because of the benefit I get from it, right? So once I clear out my bedside table drawer, I have all this extra space. I don't know what it is, but all of the extra space in a drawer like that gives me this sense of calm. It gives me this sense of, you know, I've got more space around me. I don't know why, but that's just how it seems to work for me. So I want that calm feeling in my bedroom. So I'll do that bedroom drawer first. But if kitchen is your place or bathroom is your place, go ahead. All right. You'd be surprised at what you'll find in those drawers that you haven't used in a really long time. If we're talking bathroom, you'd be surprised at things like the makeup and how quickly it goes out of date. The amount of old toothpaste tubes that you could find in a drawer. The amount of broken hair clips. Oh, we have so many, so many. Or shower caps where the elastic doesn't work anymore, right? In the kitchen, we have utensils that I buy from like Tupperware parties that look so good at the party, and then I take them home and I never use them. Although I do love that onion chopper. That's really, really good. Okay, so kitchen drawer, I like to start with the larger utensils because it's easier to see what I use and what I don't use. Things like baby-sized forks and spoons. Now that mine are getting older, we can declutter those pretty soon. Yeah, but you catch my drift, right, on what to do. Excellent. Okay, so we've done a drawer. Just losing my voice because I'm getting too excited, so I'm going to have a drink of water. How are we for time? We're going on 11:15 here in Newcastle, where I'm at. Okay. Alrighty, so let's talk about the simple technique that anyone can use to make decluttering a simple, consistent part of everyday life. This was a life changer for me, everybody. Sorry, don't mind my cough. This is not something I made up, so I can't take the credit for it. I have a lovely friend named Ange. I actually haven't seen her for years. So Ange, if you're watching, hello. I love you. Hope we get to catch up one day soon. Okay, so my friend Ange told me a few years ago about a technique that she uses where she declutters regularly. She actually declutters weekly, and it's hardly any work at all. This is what I call it. I don't know if Ange calls it that, but this is what I call it. I call it a weekly buy bag. Right? As in goodbye. Weekly buy bag. Not as in buy more stuff. As in say goodbye. Here's how it works. Now, this is my version. You can tweak it however you want. But basically what I do is I find a bag. I put it on my dining room table because our dining room table is really, really big. It always has a lot of extra space on it. You can find any spot in your house for this. I put the bag on my table and I dedicate something to it, like a theme on what I want to get rid of. Okay, so different buy bag theme each week. So let's say it's Monday that I'm doing this. I think it's Monday. Yeah, I do it on a Monday. So I put the bag on the table and I'll go, okay, broken things are my theme this week. Every time this week, when I come across something broken that I can't get repaired or that can't be recycled, I'm just going to put it in that bag. Okay, and at the end of the week, all of the toys that are broken or things of mine that I've come across that are broken or pens or texters that don't work anymore, during that week, I've popped them all in that bag, right? And then at the end of the week, I'll just tie the bag up and I throw it out. And I've decluttered then without actually having to do any overwhelming decluttering. It's just been a part of my everyday life. What do you think of that? A buy bag. Let me know your thoughts in the chat so I know how you're feeling. Now, it doesn't have to be broken things. It can be things that you donate. So remember when we were talking about baby clothes? Okay, so it might be, hey, my child's just gone into a size 4, but it's really overwhelming to think that I have to go through all of their clothes and look at every tag and find all of the size 3s that they were wearing. But you know what? Over the course of the week, you're going to be going to that wardrobe and those sets of drawers every morning when you're getting clothes out for your child, right? So every time you're there, just have a look at a few. And every time you come across a size 3, go and put it in your buy bag. Then at the end of the week, you have a whole bag full of size 3 clothes. You can tie up that bag, write a label on it or write on the bag itself, size 3 kids clothes, and donate that really, really easily. How good is that? I love this theory. This technique, it works really, really well. Okay, so you can do it with baby clothes, you can do it with broken things. What else can you do it with? Oh, there's so many things. If you've got any ideas, put them in the chat box. Let me think of another one I've done it for recently. I do it with paperwork a fair bit. So I'll have the buy bag and then I have my filing cabinet and I'll just go through, you know, a couple of folders each day and kind of stick them in the buy bag then. What else do I do? Shoes are a big one. Toys are probably the main one that we use it for here, because a lot of our toys that the kids get given are the ones that tend to break pretty easily. But yeah, you could do it with anything. You can do it with your clothes. You can do it with accessories. You can do it with, see how I'm breaking it all down? So you've got clothes, shoes, accessories, stockings even. It just depends on how big your house is. Tips are awesome. You can fill 52 weeks of the year with that idea. Wendy, yes. Love the buy bag idea. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I'm glad you like it too. It's a life changer for me. Really, 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 really is, right? You could just do sports equipment that the kids aren't using anymore, right? Mine have already outgrown things like, you know, frisbees and those, you know, elastics and things like that. Anyway, you guys get my drift. So let's move on. So a buy bag, if you give it a try, email me and let me know. Marissa@beautifulyorganised.com. What next? All right. So I'm pretty sure we've covered almost everything. Let me just double check. I'm just going to have a look and see what I can find. I should have brought this page up before. I'm just bringing up a web page that tells me all the points that I was going through. Where are we? Talk amongst yourselves in the chat for a minute. Love the good buy bag. I'll be onto that one too. Just got interrupted by the census lady hunting me down again. Oh, yes. Oh, our census was a mess this year. I felt so sorry for all of the team behind it. Okay, so what did we talk about today? We talked about the 3 most common reasons people fail when trying to declutter their home. We talked about easing into decluttering, right? We talked about the first things to decluttering, and then we talked about the buy bag, which is a simple technique that anyone can use to make decluttering part of a consistent everyday life. Okay, so we've covered everything already. Wow, we've done well. We haven't hit the hour yet. We're going to do Q&A in a minute, but I know when I do these classes, I know a few people usually say, what do I do next after I've tried all of those things? So I'm going to show you how I normally move forward with clients and with blog readers and people who are like, yep, I've tried those techniques and they worked. Where do I go next from here? And the easiest way to do it is just to take my Less Mess, Less Stress course. It's called Less Mess, Less Stress and More Calm. This is the main way I actually work with clients now, because I found that going to everybody's houses actually got quite overwhelming for me too. And I found when I was working, especially with parents, one of the things that we really, really struggled with was, you know, I'd go and book in a mum's house to go and organize, and then they'd be like, oh no, the kids got sick today, can we reschedule? Or my kids would get sick and we'd have to reschedule. Or they think, oh, you know, do you want to come when the baby's napping? Or is it better to come when the kids are awake? It was just really, it's really hard. It's really hard to find a good amount of time to work with somebody if you want to learn a little bit more about organizing, a little bit more about simplifying, a little bit more about decluttering. So what I do now is I just teach all the steps in an e-course. It's just 7 days. 7 days gets your whole home organized, and you can do it at your own time. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to be local. You don't have to be able to reach me live for this one. You can do it at midnight if the kids are asleep, or you can do it in the day when you've got time to have a coffee and read a quick email. So basically, if you're somebody who's tried to get organized before, but you've had some blocks, you know, if you found it really hard to keep it going, if you found it hard to stay motivated, if you found it hard to work it around the family, which is huge, huge for me, then this will really, really help, right? So what we do is we send you 7 emails over 7 days, and by the end of the week, you'll know how to organize your home. So it's really, really easy to keep it tidy. That's my favorite reason for getting organized. Remember I said before, I don't need a perfect house. I just want it to be easy to tidy. I just want to be able to walk through the house and kind of put a couple of things away here and there, potter about and feel relaxed in my life. That's my goal. If that's your goal too, this will help you out a lot. You'll also learn how to create a cleaning routine that's easy to stick to. You know, it's almost autopilot once you get the hang of it. And we'll show you a bit more about decluttering really, really easily and really consistently, so you've got some more space to breathe. So that's what we do. We also have a whole day dedicated to how to encourage your family to help you out more around the house. So I know one of the big things that a lot of us struggle with is the fact that decluttering kids' things is very emotional and hard to do, or feeling like you're the person that does all of the cleaning, all of the picking up, all of the tidying, and feeling like nobody else even sees it. That's that's a really, really big issue that a lot of us face. So I want to get rid of that problem for a lot of people. Most of the women here from, I'm just reading the chat, and most of the women here from Australia, oh, good question. Let us know in the chat where you are from. Maintenance is probably my main problem. Yes, keeping it going. All right. So if you want to work step by step with me every day for 7 days via email, so you can read it whenever you want, and they're quick emails, they get right to the point, so there's not a lot of fluff, so you can save a lot of time. If you want to work every day step by step with me for 7 days, then I'll show you how to do it. Really, the whole main point is to give you a bit more time back. Not time so that you can cram that in with other jobs, but a little bit more time back so that you have time for you, right? Even if it's just a few minutes a day to start out with, it'll become more time over time as you get better at these techniques, right? And I think as parents, particularly as mothers, we really need some time for ourselves. As much as you love your kids, as much as you're there to help them out, as much as you prioritize your family and support them, you know, they're really important things, but I think it's really important as well that we don't lose a sense of who we are as people as well. Okay, so if you are going to work, oh, Jennifer's in Australia. You're in Sydney. Aha, anyone in Newcastle with me? Just reading the chat again. Let me know if you're in Newcastle. All right, so if you do want to do the Less Mess, Less Stress program with me, it's only $47 and you access it as many times as you want for life. And you can tweet me daily and let me know how you go. And let me know if you need a hand. I check Twitter every day just to see if anyone needs some help. And I'm thinking about starting a Facebook group so we can talk to each other. So if you do take the course, let me know if you want that and I'll put that into place. Now, the best news is though, everybody who is watching live, if you're someone, and I know a lot of you have done the course already, I won't say your names live because I don't know how many of you have joined live, but I know a few of you have already taken the course and you've given really good feedback on how it's helped a lot. So I really, really love that. So the bonus that I'm about to mention, you guys who have bought the course before will also get that for free. So anybody who wants to do that program, if you purchase it today, you get lifetime access to my upcoming program, which is all about meal planning and making dinner easier. Because that is the second biggest problem that I find a lot of us have, you know, keeping the home tidy and then keeping the meals organized and not going crazy with things like, you know, figuring out what to feed people, how to stay in budget, how to not waste food anymore, what food to feed the kids so that you don't get complaints all the time, but they're still really healthy, how to make preparing and cooking dinner easier if you've got toddlers clinging to your leg as well, or if you're trying to run between school and sport and pick up and everything else. We're going to do a whole program in October. I think it's October. It might be September. We'll check on the next slide. But there's a whole program coming up that's going to help people with that. It's actually going to be $97. It's pretty big, that program. And the first group of people that go through it actually go through it live with me. So, yeah, that's a big one. But anyone who does the program today gets that for free. Because I have loved talking with you guys today. Oh, normally Newcastle, but Central Coast this year, Bryony. Oh, nice. All right, so if anybody's joining me for Less Mess, Less Stress, then all you have to do is click that yellow button underneath the video. You don't have to do it. It's always available. It's always available. So if you're like, hey, I learned these techniques today and I want to try those first, not ready to commit to anything else, don't worry about it. You can always get it. But if you do want that bonus and you want to save the $97 and get the simple meal planning for free as well, then just sign up before 5 p.m. on Friday and I will email you how to access everything. Okay, let's do questions. Oh yeah, click the yellow button to register. I always forget that bit. Let's do questions. Who's got questions? I've got some written down that I'll check, but I'm also going to go through the chat, make sure I haven't missed anything. And in a second, I'm going to put it back so that you can see me on the video. All right, check in the chat box. Let's see, what have we got? I'm going to wait a minute because I know we've got a little delay. So if you have any questions, let me know and I'll look at the ones that we've already done. How do we go back to me on this thing? I'll go red again now because I'm trying to figure out the tech. Stop sharing. Okay. Can you see me again? Always fixing the hair, Marissa. Fixing the scarf. Okay. All right. I can see me, so I think you guys can probably see me. Let's check the chat again. My biggest thing is getting rid of the kids' stuff, but they want to keep it. It's been in the cupboard untouched for a really long time, but the minute they see it, they want to keep it. Yes. Who else has had that problem, right? Where you're decluttering and the kids come in, see you do it, or you're getting them to help you do it, but they come in and they go, oh, I forgot I had that train set. Oh, I forgot I had that jewelry. I forgot I had that craft. No, I know I don't watch the fairies anymore, but I love the dolls, so I want to keep them. Who else has that problem? I have that problem too. Yes, you can see me. Thank you, Wendy. Yes, all right, so decluttering kids stuff. This is particularly important when you're talking about the lead up to Christmas, or the lead up to birthdays, or the lead up to anything special, which means the kids are going to be bringing in new stuff. So for me, this works very well at particular times of year. I've got a specific technique that helps with that. And I tend to keep my decluttering of my kids' stuff to those times of year. So the advice that I'm going to give you is all about that. Okay, so what I want you to do is think in terms of, okay, the kids have a lot of stuff. It needs decluttering. They're going to be emotionally attached to it, and then they're going to want to play with it, and that'll make my house even more messy. Eye makeup fix while I'm talking. Everybody just ignore that mascara spot. Okay, so what I do is I actually sit my kids down. They're 5 and 7. It's going to be different if they're teenagers, going to be different if they're toddlers, but we'll start with kids this age range because that's the most recent experience I have. I sit them down and I say, okay, kids, Christmas is coming, or your birthdays are coming up. Or we had like a winter fair here a couple of weeks ago where the kids went to the fair, and every year they have show bags, right? So they're obsessed with show bags at the moment. So for me, a couple of weeks ago, I sat the kids down and I said, kids, winter fair is coming up. The good news is, I love to say it in terms of good news and bad news, and that's a whole nother class, but I'll explain that in the future if you want to know. But I say to them, the good news is, winter fair is coming up, and the good news is we've got some money put aside for show bags. But the bad news is, if you bring a show bag home, there's no room to keep the toys that you get in the show bag. There's nowhere to put them. There's no space for them. The house isn't ready for anything like that. Now, I say that at Christmas and I say that at birthdays as well. Kids, good news is Christmas is coming soon. I know you've got wish lists. I know you've got birthday wish lists. I'm really excited to see, you know, what you get and all of that stuff. I know it's very materialistic, but I find kids at that age are. So I kind of play to it. I say it's coming up, but the bad news is we don't have room for it. And then I say, so I go, good news, bad news, good news. So you know what we could do? Good news is we have a solution. What we can do is we can look through your room and we can find 10 things that you don't play with anymore, or 10 things that you don't love as much as you love other things. And we can put them in a bag and we can donate them to other kids that need them but don't have the money to buy them, or aren't allowed to buy them but need them. And we can give them away. And imagine how good that will feel, because you'll be kind to another child and you'll also have room for the thing that you want. Okay, so that's one of the ways that I help with the kids decluttering, is I get them on board like that. When the kids are teenagers, I generally recommend we go more with consequences. I know it sounds a little bit harsh, but when they're teenage, oh, hang on, let me check the chat and see if you had any questions about that other one. Oh, yeah, lots of questions. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, so oh, thank you. Okay, awesome. So teenagers, I recommend heavily with consequences, not harsh consequences, but consequences delivered in a nice, calm way, right? So I would sit the teens down and I'd say, hey guys, look, I've noticed that your bedrooms are getting quite cluttered. We need to go through and take a look and see what are the things that we don't need anymore, what are the things that we can get rid of, or the things that we can pass on to other people who need them more. So what I'd like to do is have you help me do that. Or actually say it as a good news, bad news thing. Okay, so bad news is we need to do this. The good news is I'm available to help and make it easier for you. If you would like my help, let's do it on Sunday. Or you can do it yourself, and I need you to do it before the end of the week, right? Now, the consequences are your choice. It could be, we'll need to take technology away. It could be, if you can't help me with it, I'll need to go in and do it myself when you're not here. It's really going to depend on how you feel as a parent and the ongoing relationship you have with your teens. But as they get older, I tend to find that you don't even need to go too harsh or too heavy with consequences. You can always sit down and do the first part of the conversation first and say, hey guys, I've noticed that the rooms are getting quite cluttered. They're harder to keep clean. Let's make that easier for you and do some decluttering on the weekend. If you can do it on Saturday, I'll do it with you. Now, if you've tried that and it didn't work, email me the problem so I can have a look. You know, what did they say? What did they do? How did it all go haywire? Email it in and let me know what happened so I can message you back and give you some other ideas. If you have really, 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 really young kids, like babies and toddlers, and you're decluttering, toddlers are the hardest. So here's what I'm going to say. It's not a perfect answer. I'm going to say do it while they're sleeping or do it while they're not at home. I know that's a hard one, right? Because you think, what if I accidentally declutter something they love? Okay, if you're not sure, then here's what you do. You get a really big box that has a lid on it, and it has to be a box you can't see into, okay? Box with a lid on it, can't see into the box. Put the stuff in that you think they won't play with anymore, the things that you think they won't miss, the stuff that's really going out of their age group, the stuff that you want to get rid of. Put all of that in the box, put the lid on top, and then put a Post-it note on the front that has a list of all the things in it. No, put that Post-it note inside that has a list, because if it's a big box with lots of clutter, you don't want to rummage through it later. Put all of those things inside. Then on the front, add another Post-it with the date 6 months from now. Okay, so not today's date, the date 6 months from now. Put the lid on, seal the box up, just have that Post-it visible and put it away somewhere where the kids won't see it, but you can. So 6 months from now, what you're going to do is you're going to look at that date. You're going to go, oh, it's been 6 months. This date is coming up. We haven't had to open this box for anything. Because if it's something the kids really asked for a lot, you just go and get it out of the box, right? Or if it's something that you didn't want to declutter, you had second thoughts about it, you just go and get it out of the box. But if you haven't gone to that box in the last 6 months, it means that you know that you guys can live without it. So then you don't even open the box, you just donate it all at once. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps with decluttering kid stuff. But yes, I do play towards their emotions a lot of the time when they're kids my age. It's the same at the moment. Okay, let's have a look for more. That's a more nicer way of doing it than I did with my littler ones. Hey, I'm not judging. If you just go in brutally when they're asleep or they're not home, you just pack it up and get rid of it. I understand where you're coming from. No judgment here from me whatsoever. All right. Oh, you're brilliant. That's amazing. What a fabulous idea. Oh, thank you. I'm really glad you liked it. Okay, let's go through. There was a bit of conversation about birthday parties, so I'm going to go through and have a look at that. Okay, ready? Oh, heaps of Australians. Wow. Hi, guys. Okay, you can all organize together with some wine. Yes. Wouldn't it be nice? Oh, maybe I should do like a monthly group where we all get together and do this. Okay. My biggest thing, oh yeah, we've done that one. Being a mum with all grown kids, just a word to pass on. They don't remember when you stressed all night to make that perfect birthday party when they were 6. That is so true. That is so true. You know how we, especially when the kids are younger, everything is important, right? Everything feels like a lot of pressure, everything. Yeah, I'm a big believer in life being not perfect, just being easier. So you're right. Who did that? It was under anonymous again. I missed it. But yes, you're right. They don't remember. They don't remember if you stress all night for perfect parties. So do easy parties instead, guys. I totally agree. Okay, this one says, I have Christmas gifts and birthday gifts that I buy in advance and often forget that I have them. Yes, how can I store these and keep them organized and remind myself to give them to people? Okay, so my top 2 things for this will depend on your own house, but what I generally recommend is assign a place that you go to every year. And if you have more than one place, assign them in terms of 1, 2, and 3. Here's where I put things first. If that gets full, here's where I put other things. And then if that gets full, here's where I put the rest, right? And then what I do is I take that and I actually write it in my planner, or I put it in my phone, somewhere that the kids aren't going to get into, but somewhere that I'm going to be in touch with on a regular basis. So I have a written planner, so it goes in one of the front, no, I think it's the back, in the notes page. I write down there, don't forget, here's where I keep things, or I put it in my phone under the notes section, right? So you designate the areas where you're hiding presents. You write down somewhere where you're going to see it on a regular basis where they are, okay? And then you're going to remember where things are. But you have your priority 1, 2, and 3 space. So if you don't fill up everything, you know they're all just in one, and you're going to find them all in the one spot then. Then what I do is when I'm assigning, like packing presents away, I just pop a little, either write on the present itself in pencil who it's for, and I'll just do their initials if I'm worried about people coming across them, little people coming across them. I'll write their initial on it, or I'll stick a Post-it note on it if I can't write on the actual packaging, and that'll have the name of the person and whether or not it's birthday or Christmas or, you know, whatever the occasion is. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. But having that little reminder in your planner or your phone to remind you of what you got makes a huge difference. Huge. Oh, I just went scary with the eyes then. But yeah, so I hope that helps. Okay, who is next? I think I'm the only one who doesn't stress about birthday parties. Yes, they just remember fun. Absolutely. How to get my husband involved. Oh, we have a whole day on this in the course, a whole day on this in the course. And if you tweet me, I'll give you more specific, you know, if you're a course member and you tweet me, I'll give you specific advice. But generally, how do I get my husband involved? Okay, stuff. This is the hardest thing to do, right? So here's what not to do. Don't try and declutter together. Don't try and declutter together. It doesn't work. You only end up fighting. They get, they're like, sometimes they're like kids. They, oh, I really love this. I forgot I even had it. Remember this memory, honey? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice. We can remember it anyway. We don't need to keep that. But anyway, everyone's different. If you try and declutter together, it's just going to become a battle of wills. You know, what should we keep versus what shouldn't we keep? Here's my opinion. Here's your opinion. You're going to end up fighting or ticked off at each other. I wouldn't recommend doing it together. What I would say is go to your partner and say, hey, we're running out of space in this area. Can you take a little bit of time this week? And I go as specific as possible. I say, can you take some time on Saturday afternoon, just an hour or so, go through it, chuck out anything you don't want, put some stuff that you want to give away in a bag for me, and I'll take care of it from there. It works really well. Do I think that I should be the one that has to take care of it from there? No, I think they should do it themselves. But in an ideal world, yeah, that would be great. But if I have to do a little helping hand, I will. But yeah, I'll be very specific with the area. Honey, can you go through your jackets for me and just tell me which 3 you want to keep and then pass the rest to me so I can donate them? Or I say something like, hey, can you just go through your shoes for me and give me all the ones that need throwing out because they're, you know, ruined beyond repair? See how I get really, really specific? If I just say to a partner, hey, can you go through and declutter that cupboard? How are they going to feel? They're going to feel overwhelmed, right? Like we do. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it when I've got time. They only need 15 minutes. All right? If you get really stuck, just think, how do I put this in a way that benefits them? Hi, honey, I want to free up some space. I call my husband honey. I don't know if you've got that yet. Okay. Hi, honey, I need to free up some space so that I can store your something. See the benefit for them? So can you, very specific request with a time frame, and I'll take care of the rest of it from there. That's my specific technique that I use over and over again in our house and with clients as well. Okay, next one. As mine are teenagers, they still do that, but when I was little, I did it when they weren't around. Yes, okay, so you used to declutter when the kids weren't there. Teenagers, yep. Teenagers are tricky. There's a lot of emotion with teenagers. I find teenagers are quite tricky too because they earn their own money if they have part-time jobs. So if they're buying their own things with their own money, I don't like to declutter their stuff in that case because then it becomes a real thing about, you know, ownership and control and that sort of thing. So it's a whole other can of worms, isn't it, really, with teenagers? Yep. So yes, get them to do it and talk about, you know, rewards and consequences instead. Especially if you're doing things like driving them places, right? Or helping them with stuff, right? That's something you can talk about. You know how I help you out here? It would really help me out if you did that. Talk about the benefit for them as well. All right. Oh, I can see you, but no sound. Oh no, does anyone else not have sound? I should have sound. Who else doesn't have sound? Oh no, I have sound. Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay, if you go through the rest without sound, then let me know and I'll try and do this as a blog post. Okay. My husband is a hoarder, doesn't like to part with anything. Oh, that's so hard, isn't it? Thank you, Marissa. That's an awesome tip. Wendy, thank you, Wendy. Okay, it is. You know what? I have some friends that have the same problem. They have a partner. Sometimes it's a partner, sometimes it's a teen, sometimes it's extended family, like parents. They're helping parents clear out their house, and hoarding is you have sound and vision. Excellent. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, everybody who said they have sound, but sometimes it asks me to reconnect. Yeah, internet connections are tricky. You have sound. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Okay. Yes, So if you're talking about a partner or a family member or a friend who is a hoarder, remember it's really emotional. This is when I'd actually say to people, if you can afford it, you really need outside help there. You need to work with somebody who works with people who are hoarding. And there's a very big psychological, emotional connection with hoarding. And to be honest, as an organizer, I don't even specialize in that. I refer people to, I have a friend, actually I haven't had a hoarding request in a long, long time, but I have a friend in the local area who I would refer to for that. So hi Woody, if you're watching. Okay. But yes, at the end of the day, if they're not going to help and you are still in a strong relationship and it's not a deal breaker in your relationship, best advice I can give is to declutter around them, right? It's never going to be perfect, but there are ways to make it easier. And that's to pick and choose the stuff around them. But yeah, that benefit sentence, hey, I want to help you out in this way, so can you specifically do this and then I'll take over from there, that technique. Oh, it's gold. Okay, great. I think that's it. I want to check the chat box at the top from the start of the session in case there's anything else that I missed. So let's have a look. I'm just trying to scroll slowly, but it's not working. There we go. Okay. Questions. Oh, I think we covered them all. Oh, there was a house move question. Reducing the huge cost of our regular house moves. Bryony, you move regularly, right? Are you still here, Bryony? I think you're still here. All right, so you know how we talked about decluttering being a regular part of everyday life, especially if you move on a regular basis, that alone is going to really reduce the stress, right? Because you don't have as much to move. The other stuff that I would do would be, costing is a tricky thing because it's really personal. So if you want to email me anything about that, let me know. Just send an email in and we'll talk about that specifically. But remember, regular decluttering means that when you do something like move or you go through a major life change, it's going to be a lot easier, Okay, overwhelmed, motivated, we covered that stuff. Yay, I think we've covered all the questions. If we haven't, oh no, oh, you're not getting it. I'm going to send you the replay anyway. So if you keep getting cut off, I'm sending the replay. Hopefully that will work better. That's actually it, guys. We've pretty much covered everything. I'll hang on for 1 second while I'm doing goodbyes in case you have any last minute questions, but we've covered all of it. Don't forget, for those of you who are doing the Less Mess, Less Stress course, just use the yellow button to register because then I get a notification after the payment and I can go and email you. It comes day by day, that comes automatically, but I like to email everybody and make sure they do get the right access to the program straight away. And I like to make sure that everybody has got the same email address. So when you pay with PayPal, it links it to an email. Sometimes people use a different email address to access stuff. So I like to sort all of that out personally. So if you do register today and there's any hiccup at all, let me know. You can tweet me. It's at Marissa Roberts for a tweet, or you can email me, marissa@beautifulyorganised.com. But rest assured, I'll get in touch with you manually if you've registered for the course, just to make sure that you have access. I know a couple of you who are listening to the replay and who are here live have done that before. Yes, you get the freebie with the meal planning as well, and I'll get in contact by email to show you that. We have a couple more things showing up in chat, so before I say goodbye, I'll check that. Still here, Bryony. Okay, great. Wonderful advice, Marissa. When I was able to hear, I'm motivated, got almost all of my laundry folded. Thank you. Oh, that just made my day. I'm so glad it helped. Thanks, it was great. Thank you, Marissa. Very encouraging and helpful. Oh, you guys make me feel so special. I'm really glad you got some value out of today. Whether you go on and do the program with me or whether you stay and just work on the techniques we talked about today, either way, I'm really glad that you got some value. You've got something to work with, and I want to hear about how you go. So if you haven't followed us on Facebook already, just go to facebook.com/beautifulyorganised. You can go there and show me your before and after pictures, or show me or comment and let me know how you go. And if you need anything privately, just send me an email. I can't do heaps over email for everybody because it's very time consuming after a while, and I only have like a couple of hours a day that I can work while the kids are busy or at school. But if I can help quickly over email, I will. Or if you have a question that I can't answer personally, what I'll do is I'll make it a blog post and just keep your details anonymous and help you that way and help other people at the same time. All right, thanks, Marissa. You've given me some great tips and strategies that I want to start to use. I'll keep up with your info. Thanks, Bryony. That's lovely. Okay, guys, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thank Thank you for your time. I had a ball. It was really, really fun. I'll do more in the future if you want them. So yeah, I'll send you an email and let you know. But yeah, have fun. Keep me posted on your progress and I will see you again soon. Bye.